Well, hey, welcome everybody to another exciting episode of Tech Tip Tuesday, Halloween costume style. We're going to have a little bit of a celebration today. It's kind of a fall kind of giveaway, kind of new quarter with a little theme of spooky Halloween, right? So bring your best costume, folks, because there's prizes today, by the way, for your knowledge of Tech Tip Tuesday, as well as your participation in the event. So, you guys, if you don't recognize me, my name's Elvis. No, I mean, my name's Ken Close. I'm a Healy World member, engineer, lover of the technology, lover of fun and games. And I'm joined by some amazing co-hosts. I've got Jake Barron, aka Skellington. How you
I
doing,
am
Jake?
Jake Skellington, Baron.
Right on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we've got Henry Pena, head of the onboarding specialist. Henry, how are you today?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Detective Tuesday. I'm doing good. Thank you, Ken.
Welcome, welcome. Well, hey, thanks you guys for coming in, and definitely you guys. There's prizes to be had. So the better you participate, the more likely your chances to win. So you know how it works. This is Tech Tip Tuesday, just a little spin on it because it's Halloween time. But it's the same as usual. This is a chat-based forum where you guys put your questions in the chat, all things Healy, technology, theories, concepts, usage, applications, that kind of thing. Put that stuff into the chat. And myself, Jake, and as well as Henry, we will unpack those. Sometimes the audience every now and then throws in their bits and pieces. But we'll unpack those questions. We'll solve the mysteries. We will come up with solutions. What we can't talk about, the only thing we really, it's off the table, is things that where it comes to diagnosing, treating, or talking about diseases or specific programs for such. We do have resources for those that we can point you to, though. So guys, if you guys are ready, I'm ready. Audience, if you're ready, let's hit the ground running, huh? You ready?
Yeah, let's
Ready over
go.
here. Ready.
All right, guys, let's see what we got in the chat. Anybody want to start the exciting episode with a question? Let me hear it. Of course, if you don't have questions, we're going to talk about, my latest and greatest
Or I can.
albums.
Ken, how about we start with a giveaway? What if we do that?
I like that idea a lot, Hey,
Okay.
all
Let's.
right.
So we did have a question come in, but let's start. Let's kick things off. We got 4 giveaways today, so we're gonna start one off to begin here. So I'm gonna share my screen and let me get right. Hold on a second here. Visibility is a little bit lower today. That's
Yeah, you got a little bit of something you're looking through there, right?
yeah,
I hear you.
yeah, yeah. Okay, let's see. Let's share this. And okay, can you see my screen?
I see it. There it is. I see
Okay.
our.
Yeah, so of course, our amazing famous quarterly celebration here. And today, for those of you that do win, we got four, a couple things that you can win here. But we have our Healy crossbody bag, which fits a Mag Healy and a Healy device too. We have a pink lanyard case that holds your Healy device, a dark navy blue lanyard case that holds your Healy device, and then also a Healy insulated cup. You see there, I think it's pretty good size there as well. And then we also have the option to choose between a couple different modules: plant power database, personal growth, soul cycle, natural cycle, and animal module. And just keep in mind, if you live outside of the US or Canada, just to stick to one of the virtual prizes because it's a little more efficient to fulfill those too versus shipping some of these things around the world. But if you do live in the US and Canada, you can pick from any of these options that we have here too. So first question for today. Okay, so if you own both a Healy Obsidian and Mag Healy Obsidian, how many programs do you have access to in the Healy 2 app? So combine those two together. So
Whoa.
we'll give you about, say, 15, 20 seconds or so here in the chat. Put your guesses in there, and then the person that comes closest will win. And if there's two people of the same guess that win, then we'll pick the person that submitted the answer first. So timing is important too. So get your answer in there right away. So we've got
Best saying
yeah,
225.
that's a good answer. All of them. That is a correct answer, but we're looking for the exact number here too. So we have 225 as a guess. We have 300.
300.
Another good guess. So let's
Nice.
see here. 400.
400.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're increasing in the with the number of programs here.
we're getting there. Yeah.
555, 450. Okay, a lot of great guesses here.
I love it.
350. Give
Yeah.
another maybe 10 seconds or so. So get your if you're just trying to decide, get that answer in. Let's see.
Yeah, you know, there's been
412.
some
That's a
additions too.
great guess.
Nice.
399, 425. Okay, 5 seconds. Five,
Cool.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Uh,
And okay, let's see what we got here. Okay,
answer
so
is
the answer is so for the Healy obsidian, you have access to 294, in the Mag Healy obsidian 110, for a total of 404. So, okay, what does that mean for the winner here? I know we had someone that guessed 400. Deb, that was a great guess. Super close. Liliana had
400.
412 and 399. Those are also really close too, but I think Deb is the closest, right?
Yeah, that's within four, you
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
So
All right, well, Deb, you are the first winner today. Congratulations. And I'll reach out to you here in the chat to get your selection of what prize that you want there too. So again, congratulations.
woo, good
Let me
job.
check.
Yeah, good job. That was awesome. And a great question, by the way, because you know, with the Obsidian edition, new pages, new programs have been added, right, on both the Mag Healy and the Healy. So that's a tough one, you know,
Yeah.
if you're new, right? That's a
It, it,
good
yeah.
opener.
It took Henry and I a while to figure it out ourselves. So, yeah.
See, guys. So yeah, even corporates having some struggles. Let me see. We got to add them all up, right? And it just keeps getting better and better. And because obviously you guys know that if you've got the Obsidians, all the future ones that get added are going to be coming to your device. So great. And those numbers just keep going. I remember when I first started, this has been over 5 years ago. We were somewhere around 200 programs. There was no such thing as a Mag Healy then. So, and there was no such thing as an Obsidian edition. So, you know, it just keeps on growing over the time that we've had our Healys. Okay, guys, so we do have a couple of questions here. Let's see. One is says, "Hello, total newbie here. Welcome, newbies. I'm loving it when newbies are here. Folks that are here that just want to learn a little bit more. Um, so you say that you use your Healy for sleep. For one, I wake up in the to the flashing Healy bright blue light. Why is that? What does it mean? So what is the flashing blue light, guys? On the Healy, you've got the flashing blue light. You can see mine's running right now, okay? You got a flashing green light and a flashing blue light. All right, those lights indicate certain states. The blue light indicates that it is connected via Bluetooth to a device, right? A tablet, a smartphone. It's connected to a device. That just says that you are connected. That's it. The green light says that it is running a program, or the Healy is on and it is running a program. Okay. So if you don't want the blue light, if that blue light is waking you up, all right, then you can disconnect the Healy from the smart device. Once you've loaded the program into the Healy, right, you get it running, you get it started, you can actually turn your smart device off. You can turn the power completely off. And the green light will still continue to flash and the blue light will stop. All right. Now here's a little thing to think about too. When you're running your Healy, you can turn the Healy upside down on top of a table or anywhere you've got it if you have it clipped to your body. I used to run mine because I have also one of my Heelys with the gold clip that's signed by Marcus Schmika. And I would put that with the Healy inside my jacket or inside my shirt with the gold clip out, right? So I like showing it off, right? It was like a super awesome accomplishment. And so you couldn't see the lights. You couldn't see the lights. And the cool thing is the Healy still works the same. You know, the orientation of the Healy when it's on your body, front facing or backwards facing, when you have the coil on it, that's really the only relevance because the magnetic signal is going forward and backward, right? But the orientation other than that, it really doesn't matter. So so there's a little hint. You could hide those lights, right? They're not going to stop or hinder the use of the Healy, and you can even shut the Bluetooth off completely. Does that help, guys? You want to add to that?
Yeah, I think the only thing is that I saw that Liliana added an additional comment at the end
What's
saying
it mean?
I should have been more precise, a bright blue light on the right side where it usually has the green light. But I mean to be honest, the Healy only has those two lights, so you have either the green one or the blue one. So as long as you turn off your Bluetooth, which you can do by either closing the app, walking away from your phone, turning off the Bluetooth itself, the Healy will continue running. Now the green light will stay on because the green light indicates that the program is running. So you cannot really do anything about that one beyond just covering it. But by the time that the program ends, which should be anywhere between 20 minutes and an hour, that green light should be off. The blue light, again, the blue light will remain off if you don't disconnect it from your phone. But as long as you disconnect it from your Healy from your phone somehow, again, by either turning off Bluetooth, walking away, or fully closing the app, you shouldn't have to worry about that blue light. And it's only one blue light and one green light. There's nothing else beyond that on the Healy.
And so hopefully that answers your question as to what they mean as well as, why they're there. Okay. So here's a question here, a quick question about the program, what programs I should run in coaching modules. So the coaching module has some pretty cool training to talk about kind of how it works, what the numbers mean and such. The coaching module has some great training within it. When you do an analysis, you're looking at several aspects, and you've got some flexibility as to, when the analysis pops up, you've got this wheel that kind of shows you the things that are the weakest and the things that are the strongest within your bioenergetic field within you, and you can obviously, you're going to want to work on the things that are the weakest. Yes. So you kind of go into that matrix and utilize that wheel to decide what to work with. It gives you basically, a lot of solutions and information, a lot of content about each one of those categories and how to align that, as well as frequencies that go into your field as well to assist that. So there's in the our training modules, there's tons of coaching information. Jake, I mean, you've posted it here before. We've had that um, from the academy, the trainings, right?
Yeah, we do have some great videos in Healy Academy. So if you have not checked those out, maybe you have, but if you haven't, there's a lot of background in there as far as how the coaching module works and kind of the way to get the best or the most out of that particular module too. So I can actually pull it up real quick while we're on the call here, but those videos are super helpful because yeah, the coaching module, that module itself is so powerful. There's like so many different ways that you can use that too and kind of help benefit you in all areas of your life. So there's lots of ways you can kind of customize it, like when you're going through it and choosing the number of different databases or topics to kind of analyze and that kind of thing too. Of course, there's a default that it gives you, but you can check other ones or uncheck and that kind of thing too. So yeah, definitely, it's worth putting a little bit of time into researching or watching some of these videos too if you haven't already.
I call it going to Healy School, right? The Healy Academy. and taking the time to actually dig in deep to those things and watch them in their entirety. And it kind of that first question here with the coaching module kind of now moves over into the next question about and by the way, AJ says, "Good morning, nice costumes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much." Anyway,
So,
little spin
so
on it.
Ken, before we move on, so this is Healy Academy. So if you log in, so it's academy.healy.world. You log in with the same login information that you do with your Healy apps or for your shop and that kind of thing. But once you log in, go to products and then go to coach modules, and then you'll see here there's a little overview, and then there's different sections on each of the different parts. So things, some of the stuff is about the psychological basics, the observer effect, information field, and quantum entanglement, how to interpret the analysis parameters, the transmission guide, that kind of stuff too. So this again, super helpful video there also. And if you haven't watched these at all, or if it's been a while since you watched them, it's great. I think always is a sort of like a little refresher also for these too.
And there's also content that leads into this next question about what those numbers mean.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the 85%,
Yeah.
the LM, the C, the D. So those are all. It's all basically. It's based on the dilution of the finding, right? Where it kind of exists in your life or in your biofield. You know, whether it's something in the physical, the spiritual, the emotional side, whether it's ancestral. So those letters kind of dictate that, and they're so that kind of gives you some more information within that coaching. I think the coaching module is the one that has the most elaborate content there. But the other thing too is in the app itself. If you go over and tap on those numbers, right, or letters, it kind of gives you a breakout um, content about what they mean. Okay, so there's a little breakout text, right? So if you tap on the 85%, your little breakout section there about what that 85% means. Same thing with the letters. So so it's useful now. That was an addition within the apps um, to help people to understand that, right? Um, let's see.
Henry, that's actually one of the topics that you cover in the onboarding session, right? There's a brief
Yeah.
overview of that particular chart that you're referring to also as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And something, I mean, I understand, what AJ is saying about, that maybe it's not that clear and detailed. And it's important to keep in mind that in that video that you're gonna see that you're gonna be getting a chart that it basically explains to you the the whether it's D, C, or LM. So these are usually for the most part described as whether it's a cause or effect, or it can be somewhere in between in the case of LMs. And then the numbers next to them, you can basically interpret that as the higher the number, the less chances that that particular result that you see there, the less chances it has manifested in your life. So the lower the number, the more tangible, the more chances it has manifested. And now, if you want to dig deeper into this, just know that the theory behind those potencies, that's what this parameter is called, potencies, is based on basically the methodology of creative homeopathy by Anthony Pepler. So I always encourage everybody, if you want to dig deeper into that, because it's basically a categorization system that we borrowed from Anthony Pepler, that it may be a good idea also to look into some of her books. I know she has two books that go on creative homeopathy, which would probably allow you to go deeper into the specific meaning of those numbers, letters that you see there when you next to the DC and LM.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And like I said, folks, the Academy, the Healy Academy really does open a lot of doors. It can also add, more questions, but it does clarify quite a bit in terms of function, usage, kind of into AJ's next question here about how to address certain ailments or conditions such as a general idea on how. Okay, so here's the question: is there any written protocols to give us an idea of how to best address certain ailments or conditions as a general idea of how often to run which programs and for how long? Um, so AJ says I've been winging it, and it's actually that I'm noticing specific results. Um, if when it comes to analysis, well, first of all, what programs for what condition? Or if you have a symptom, how do you take a look at what program might best address that? So Healy's got within the Heal Advisor app a search engine in there, right? And the Heal Advisor app is this one that's got the wavy lines here off to my shoulder. You can see the one that's got the wavy lines right there. It's called Heal Advisor. You should have that one loaded as well. You should have 3 apps: the pink app, which is Healy 2 app, the Heal Advisor 2 app, which is the blue app, and then the wavy line or the Heal Advisor app. You should have those 3 loaded. Everybody has the same account. You log in, and within the Heal Advisor, there's a Heal Advisor search function. When you tap on that, there's going to be a window that you can put a word in there, put a symptom, put a name of something that's going on with you. And it's going to give you groups. In other words, what you get is you get a name. Maybe there's a number assigned to it, but there's going to be maybe a couple of different groups named in there. And you tap on that group and it'll show you the programs that are best suited for that word you put in there, that condition, that symptom, that whatever. Okay, so that's one option. Another option is using the Heal Advisor Analyze app. So to actually look at your bioenergetic field, and then you choose all Healy programs as a database in which it will restrict its output. Okay, so the analytical engine, right? The Heal Advisor Analyze app, it's an analytical engine, and it uses the client as the one being analyzed. Okay. Then you choose whatever database you want it to reveal your alignment properties in. Okay, whatever that is, whether it's homeopathic remedies or it be in the All Healy programs. If you choose All Healy programs, what it's going to do, it's going to narrow the results down to 5 pages that best suit your bioenergetic condition. What does that mean? You haven't put in a symptom, you haven't put in an ailment, but because you are in there as a client, the way that it assesses you as a whole, spiritually, physically, emotionally, it then finds the things to align the whole, your entire bioenergetic self, right? And gives you 5 distinct pages that most apply. That's using, like I said, that's using the database called All Healy Programs. Now, that's a lot of information because each page can hold as many as 12 programs. So that's a lot of possible programs. 5 times 12, you get, 60 programs there, right? Okay. How do you drill that down? Well, then you take each one of those pages and you do another analysis on you, the client, or the client if it's not you. You do another analysis on each page individually, starting at the first one all the way down to the 5th one. And then it's going to give you the top 5 programs within that page. Now you've got more distinct clarity. Now you kind of have a recipe of what you can do over the next month even or weeks. So you can run those programs to the tune of 3 a day if you're running it via microcurrent or the coil. But the point is you now have kind of a plan, right? You've got a direction to go. And it's very, very useful. Practice using that, and I think you're going to get a lot of clarity. Guys, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think the only thing that I wanted to add regarding because I saw that AJ said that that he was familiar with the search engine, but that I think it's important beyond the search feature itself. Remember that you can also create an actual protocol because it will in fact recommend a protocol for you. You just need to press that pink text that says add search results to IMF schedule. And then once you do that, then you will actually have a protocol based on that keyword that you enter that you can follow program by program. You can set it up to start programs in the morning, in the afternoon, and evening. You can basically set it up however you want, and it's all going to be tailored for that particular keyword that you entered. If you're looking for a step-by-step protocol, when it comes to Healy, that really is going to be the best place to go. That's really the one that will in fact hold your hand regarding, if you're looking for just something to follow, and that's it.
So I want to clarify here, guys. We're kind of talking about two different scenarios here. One scenario in which you've used the Heal Advisor Analyze Search function, and it's given you categories with names of programs. Keep in mind that that's just based on the word you put into that search bar, not you, just the word. Whatever the diagnostics, the symptom, whatever it is, that word, it's only based on that word, and it's going to give the most accurate information as to deal with that word. And it's going to be in very specific alignment with priority. So the number one program on the number one group is going to be the number one most effective for the word you put in there. Okay, so again, this is not a person, this is a word. So that's one category. The other category is the analysis of the Blue app. Okay, the Blue app using the Heal Advisor Analyze app. Now you put a client in there, a very specific person. It's not looking at a condition within that person, it's looking at the whole. And then when you do use the all Healy programs, when you use that category, it's going to give you another sequence, a blueprint of pages in order of priority. So the first page is the most highest priority of effectiveness towards the condition that's in your entire self. Okay, the first page. Second page is second priority, third, fourth, and fifth. So that's why I tell you to go back and do another analysis on that first page. And then it's going to give you 5 programs, if there's 5 programs within that page. Some only have a few. But the point is, it's going to give you 5 programs, again, in order of priority. Okay? So if you've done that to each page, the first page, you've done the analysis, you have 5 programs now. You did the second page, you have 5 more programs now. Third, fourth, and fifth. And if you keep them, you write them down in order. The first page in the first program is priority number 1. The last program on the last page is priority number 60, whatever it is, okay? Now you've got a blueprint. You've got I call it a recipe. And if you're running the microcurrent, it's recommended to do no more than 3 a day, okay? Okay, great. So if you have 60 programs that is given you as a recipe, okay, then how many days at 3 per day can you run programs? That's quite a long period of time, correct? So just look at that because the question here also asks, am I doing it correctly? Am I doing it enough? Each one of those programs within the Pink app has its own timer. You don't have to worry about doing it too much, right? It's going to end at the end of its timer, at the end of its allocation. It's going to be done. So if you do 3 of those in a day, right, to their entirety, now you've done essentially the protocol for that day. Okay. Now, I also recommend a couple of other tidbits when it comes to self-care. Don't do them back to back. Okay. Give your body time to acclimate to each one of these programs. And as you heard Henry say earlier, some of those are only 20 minutes, some of those are over an hour. Okay. So do the program in its entirety, but then some self-care protocols afterwards are going to be finding some time to be grounding your body, right? Get your body back into earth reference. Make sure you're hydrating. So number 2, hydrate your body. Another self-care protocol. Movement helps to get whatever lymphatic action that the program may have encountered or detox processes that the program encountered, gets that moving. So move the body so that it can start to release and use its natural excretion processes. All right. Number 4 would be to breathe. Breathing is important. Most people breathe in the top quarter of their lungs, and that's it. Remember, our exhale is part of the excretion program. To get rid of toxic burden, to get rid of things the body wants to get rid of, exhaling is the way to do it. Okay. And then I always say mental attitude, in other words, finding a reason to fall in love with life. Mental attitude really accents all of the protocols, all of the programs that you're running, anything that you're doing in your life. A good positive attitude is going to accent all of that. Okay, so hopefully that helps. And this is going to be recorded, guys, if you want to go back and if you didn't get the notes, and you'll be able to see these answers and understand this reference. Okay. Anything else? Let's see. Next question. What's the link for Healy Academy? There it is. Henry's on top of it, guys. Click on that link. And you can do it live from here, by the way. If you're on your computer, you're on your laptop, you can click it right there and open that window separate from this call. And by the way, you can save this entire chat if you're on your PC or your laptop. Right up there where it says Healy Tech Tip Tuesday at the top of the chat window, there's three little dots. You click on those three little dots and a drop down window, another menu opens, and there's one that says Save Chat. Perfect. Click on that Save Chat. That function now is captured at the end of our call. It'll come up on your screen to be able to save that chat, and you'll have all this content. All right. I always recommend that because it's super useful. Okay, Queen of Light and Shadows, what do you got? I usually choose 3 areas, red and something, sometimes 5. Even so, my question, is it better to pick one? But I will check the academy too. Okay, I'm assuming you're talking about the coaching module, right?
Mhm.
So when it comes to the coaching module, more is not better. I'm just saying, you can get lost in the analysis, okay? It's, I feel like, okay, let's work on 2 or 3 things, right? Or if you want to really drill it down and be specific, let's just work on one thing in each category that it has found for you to be that you are in need. What that means is, like I mentioned, there's the wheel and it shows the strength of your bioenergetic field around the categories. So if there's a category, well, first of all, you choose these categories, yes. Just put maybe one particular outcome in a category. That way, it's going to take the plethora of information. Let's say there's billions of bits of information that's going to look at. And that's true, by the way. It does look at so much information. And it's going to drill it down to the top one. Don't you think that's going to probably be the most effective top one? The answer would be yes. And so, drilling it down to 2 or 3 is great. If you just want to be really specific, like there's some condition that is really haunting you, no pun on the Halloween thing, right now, then just choose one, and one per category, so that you can just really dive in and make that effective for you. Like I said, more is not better because you can get lost in the analysis. That's called analysis paralysis. We don't get much done, right? So I highly recommend that you get kind of specific. 5, in my opinion, is too many, especially when you're looking at several different categories and you're picking 5 things in each category. It's like, you know, I'm going to spend a year on this. But what if the need is like right now? I would drill it down to a few less.
Yep. And the other thing you wanna consider is that sometimes I usually pick either one or two, and sometimes if I do end up choosing two, I try to make sure that the lowest ones, and usually those two that are low, they cannot relate with each other. Like you can see how there's some sort of connection between them too. But just like Ken said, for each of those categories, you're gonna get 3 selection that will contain multiple databases. So you can end up getting more than 20 results if you end up choosing 3 different areas of life. So then you're gonna have to look at the read the statement, the desired state, look at the parameters, decide whether or not you want it, decide whether you want to modify it or not. It's a lot of work. So my advice is, as Ken said, try to keep it laser focus, very intentional. Try to keep it simple instead of just choosing a bunch of categories.
Exactly. Uh, the biggest issue is that analysis paralysis. We get stuck. We get stuck in analyzing, and the doing part gets pushed off because we're just constantly analyzing and questioning. The more confident you are in anything in your life, it doesn't matter what it is, the more confident you are, the more that infinite intelligence will make it so. And here's what I want to just kind of drill that down for a second. What and it's true on either side of the equation, positive or negative. In other words, when you're more confident that everything goes wrong, what happens? Because you say it, we profess it's going to go wrong, and we build out worst case scenarios. We're constantly preparing for the worst. So what happens is the infinite intelligence, your frequency, your transmission, your emotions and your thought create a signal, and they go out into the quantum field, and that quantum field then brings evidence of that frequency into your life. Evidence. In other words, if you say everything goes wrong, then the quantum fields brings things going wrong so that you are correct. Okay? So you shift some of that into everything goes right and things are exactly in alignment for me. That perception, that belief, that confident signal is going to be another draw in from the quantum field, from the infinite possibilities. I want you to understand that your genetic code alone. Now, there's a fixed portion of your DNA that makes you you, right? And me, so that we don't morph into each other, right? We're gonna stay the same us, and we can be recognized throughout our entire life. And unless you're dressed up like Elvis, maybe you won't be recognized. But the point is that you will be known by your family probably forever because that genetic code, the fixed portion of it, is still being expressed infinitely. But there's a huge amount, which is called the adaptive gene, that is not fixed, that's reading the environment to find out to what quality and kind of the fixed self is it should be. And when I say quality and kind, I'm talking about we're still going to have skin cells and muscle cells and bone cells and brain cells. But to what quality? Because a skin cell can be cancerous or it can be vital, right? It could be pliable, it could be supple, it could be smooth, it could be beautiful. It could also be diseased, disoriented, toxic. It's still a skin cell, and guess what? It still has your DNA blueprint in it. Because if you took one skin cell, doesn't matter if it's a good condition or bad condition, it's still your blueprint, and we can tell it's you. You understand? So the key thing is that we need to program that other 97% of the adaptive gene, which has infinite possibilities, right? It's still gonna be a skin cell, it's still gonna be like you, but to what quality and kind? That's an infinite potential based on you as an energy field, and Healy interfaces with that 97%. That's where it interfaces. The frequencies that Healy produces, the interactions that those frequencies have with your biology, it's influencing that genetic structure. Okay, so are your thoughts. So is your confidence. So when you go through your life, your day, you wake up in the morning. Hang on. Whew. You wake up in the morning um, claiming your power. I feel this emotion because so many surrender their power the moment they wake up. I am broken. I have no friends. Um, I hurt. Um, I am unworthy, right? And that becomes a self proclamation for the rest of your day. So, um, this is emotional to me because uh, I run a wellness center and I see people all the time confessing that they're no good. And it's just not true. No matter how disoriented one might be, the infinite intelligence does not make mistakes. God, source, whatever you want it to be, you're not a mistake. So, any other inputs you guys want to put in?
I just want to say well said, Ken, well said, because I completely agree. I think it's as you said, I think it's very easy sometimes to wake up and feel that way because I mean life does throw challenges at you and difficulties, but sometimes all it takes is one moment to realize that all is well. All it takes is one moment of clarity to realize, wait a minute, all is well. All is well. It's just me telling myself a horror story to myself about myself, and I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that, and just just try to cling to the good of life that it is out there. It is definitely out there, and I find that Healy is a tool. It's a tool to help you realize and remember of that goodness that life can offer you.
100%. So, Jake, you think we need to do another giveaway? Let's lighten it up here. Should we party a little bit? You're muted, Jake.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah. I actually was just gonna say it's really 15 minutes left, and we have 3 more giveaways to do. So
Whoa.
yeah, let's get. Let me share my screen. Maybe we'll do 2 of them, and we'll save the last one for the end of the call. But let me go back here. Okay, so this next question. This is a new one. For those of you that have been following these quarterly celebrations. We've had some similar questions in the past. This is another new one. This year, how many total hours have viewers spent watching our Healy World Learning Hub on YouTube? So this is a hard one. This is a really hard question. So I'm very interested to see what kind of guesses we get here. But go ahead. Put your guesses into the chat here. Again, we'll do we'll give you about another 30 seconds or so before we reveal the answer. So the first couple ones, 2,222, good guess.
That's a good number.
265,000, 250,000, okay. Yeah, good guesses. See here, I'll give it another 15 seconds or so. 44444, nice, okay. 150,000, 320, 197,000. Okay, I will say nobody has guessed it right yet. Let's see.
Woo!
888. Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Let's do 5 more seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So
Okay.
now let
Votes
me
are
see
in.
here. I forget what the answer was. Let me reveal it. 6,591 hours. So
Wow.
let's see here. Who was the closest? There's a lot of guesses here. So, and if you
Yeah.
submitted multiple guesses, we have to go with your first one. So,
Yeah.
let's see. I
Uh,
wonder if this first one, the 2222, may have been the closest.
No, I think maybe Liliana.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but Liliana said it multiple times because then she said 4444 and seven seven
Yeah,
seven
I
seven. So
think
those,
Liliana, I think all of your guesses were close.
yep,
The
yep, yep, yep.
2222, 777,
Yeah.
yeah, I think Liliana, you are the winner of the second giveaway. Congratulations! So if you want, if you could send me a message here in the chat, or I'll reach out to you in the chat later on the call. Let me know what you would like out of the prizes that we showed earlier too. And if it's something that we need to ship, if it's not a program or a module, let me know the shipping address too. That would be super helpful.
Yeah, good
Uh,
job, you guys. And that's a lot, by the way. The hours, that's hours, right?
yeah,
A
that's a
lot.
couple of, I don't know, like a year or two of hours of watching. But let me see here. Actually, let's go right over to giveaway number 3, and then we'll save one more for the end. So, okay, next question. Everybody, clear it out one more time here. New answer. Another new question for this. How many total entries are there in the resonance databases in the Analyze 2 app, including plant power? So if you go to um, the residence starts, like where Bach flower remedies are and that kind of thing, to you'll see that each one of these databases has a number of entries. So if you add all those up, what is the total number of entries available there? So again, 30 seconds. Uh, don't go to your Analyze app and log in and start counting. So
Start adding
maybe
them
let's
up.
keep this one to 20 seconds. Make it, so you can't have the time to do that here. So, okay, we've got a couple guesses here, 120, 300,
So if you remember,
600.
guys,
Okay, we're getting higher here. What do we
each
got
database
next?
has a number there. Yeah, each
Oh,
database has a number.
oh,
So,
all right. I think I revealed the answer of two.
uh-oh.
I don't know if anybody saw that, but I did.
I don't know. I know that AJ was the last person that said something before you revealed it.
So, yeah, you've got, let's see, 120, 300,
2,000, 600, 265, well, 111.
2,000.
Okay, 5 more seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and
Time.
21, 14. Okay, so answer is 1379. I don't know if I was on there. I accidentally clicked something and it came through. But so that would mean
Debbie.
Debbie, right? Is the
Debbie's
winner
the
here?
closest. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Debbie.
congratulations, Debbie. Okay, so same thing as I just mentioned. I'll send a message to you here in the chat, and you can pick one of the prizes. And if it's something shippable, make sure to include your shipping address. So, all right, and we
All
have
right.
one more prize at the end that we'll about 10 minutes from now we'll go ahead and do that one too.
All right. So we had a bunch of questions here.
Okay.
The creative homeopathy, that author, please. AJ missed
Mhm.
that. Or do
Yeah,
you find
I shared it. I shared it. Now, I think our next question was another one by the Queen of Light and Shadows about
edit?
the percentage.
The
So
edit button, right?
the edit button and whether we should put the percentage to 100% relevance on a particular result to basically make it more effective. So what you need to understand about this is that the app is simply gathering information from the information field and basically linking that with information patterns to give meaning to you. Whether you put that to 100 or not, that's not really going to impact the effect unless you believe that it will make an impact on yourself. So if you changing that number to 100 makes you feel like it's going to have a stronger effect on you, and you look at it and you say, yes, I feel that if I put it to 100, I will take this more seriously, and I will not only believe it more, but I will also act accordingly. Then by all means, you're welcome to edit any parameters you want and adjust it. But just know that digitally speaking, you are not really doing anything that will affect you on a practical sense beyond the power that you give to the values yourself. So that's what you need to understand from this. You're welcome to do it if it's going to make you feel better, but to a certain degree, it defeats the purpose of what the app is doing, which is showing you the values based on the analysis of the information field.
Keep in mind that this is a objective observer. Healy is an objective observer. When we put our input into it, changing that percentage or our opinion of the output, like I don't like this, I do like this. Now we are changing that objective observer into our subjective opinion. And now you've actually reduced or you not reduced, sorry, you've influenced the outcome. Now, as Henry said, you can put an objective um, outcome and you can imprint a subjective opinion like it's more important, but your opinion of it saying, man, that's spot on, it's more important, I'm going to give that 100% of my awareness and acceptance, and it's going to have a larger degree of influence. As I said before, you are creating a interface with that 97% is the adaptive genetic code. You are, right? In fact, you are the last entity that does so. You know, and it's in the epigenetic world, it is known that it is the environment that signals the gene. And the external environment of your cells, the genetic coding within you, the external environment of that cell is the internal environment of your body. So when they say the environment signals the gene, it's literally the incubator of the inside of you. And the inside of you is influenced by your thoughts. Your thoughts create chemistry so you can feel the emotion, and now all of a sudden you have a an expression influencing that genetic coding. Now, of course, our outside environment, what we see, where we live, we are, also has an influence because that's input through our senses, what we see, hear, taste, smell, touch. So they get interpreted though. The input that you get from your senses is interpreted by the assigned meaning of your mind. And then that goes inside to create beliefs and perceptions, emotions, all that kind of stuff that then does write to that genetic code. But it's a filtering mechanism in layers. So again, back to that whole objective observer versus subjective observer. Healy, everything it gives you is just objective. Whatever assigned meaning you place from then on is subjective that influences the outcome. Okay? Okay. So, so AJ's, let's see, where are we? That's that about the percentages. Henry's got some information there. AJ says, I'm familiar with the search engine, but it's not that helpful. And again, we talked about that search engine because it's
Yeah.
just based on a word, not you so much. Okay, so keep going down. Am I okay? So AJ said, am I understanding correctly? Um, it's best to use it to trust what's coming up for the person and treat that often for longer times until the symptoms shifts rather than focus on the issue that you think is most prominent. Again, so if you're focusing on an issue, a symptom, okay, this is just for yourself, not for anyone else, but if you're focusing on a symptom, a condition, there is a cause. The symptom is just the last result of a creation, right? Your body is expressing a message to you. The message didn't just manifest in that moment. It came from a underlying cause. The symptom is the effect. And so when we're just treating symptoms, we're typically missing the cause because it's our objective mind that's assigning meaning to the symptom. Okay? It's the reason that it came in is a deeper layer. And that's why I always say go back to the analysis, follow the analysis, and just do that blueprint over time, and then just watch your shift. Pay attention to your body. Okay. What other questions we got, guys? Queen of Light is asking one. Another question for a particular issue. It suggests 5 programs, and until first program will have low percentage, and fifth have high percentage. So, like for instance, on the Mag Healy suggests water, classic sea atmosphere, McMakin. Okay, so we're talking about the percentages. Again, back to the blueprint. Okay, so you've you've done an analysis on all Healy programs, and it gives you 5 pages with assigned percentages. Okay. Number one is number one, period. Number five is still number five. That's a priority system. They have their own percentages. Then when you go in and analyze each one of those programs on the page itself, each one of those are going to have their own percentages. You can't relate the two because it still has its own priority system. I always look at things in their order. What's their order? The percentages have relevance in terms of where they where you are in relation to that particular program. But the order is mostly the priority. You could see much lower percentages when you do the second analysis, right? When you do the second analysis on each page individually and you have a list of 5 programs, you could see much lower percentages. Don't think they're less relevant because the page that you first analyzed had a higher percentage. Don't think that those are less relevant. Just follow the order. Okay, that just makes it more simple. We can get stuck in analysis. I just feel like we do that.
Yeah, I would recommend trying to avoid overthinking the parameters too much. Again, we do have those guidelines, but I recommend that you take a look at those coaching videos that we have that explain those very well. Even the app itself, if you click on the button. But remember that you can modify how these are sorted. So if the first program is showing a low percentage, is because the sorting method that you're using is not sorted by relevance. If you sort it by relevance, always the highest result will have the highest percentage, and the lower it gets, the percentage will also become lower. On the top right corner, you can modify this, but you need to enable in the advanced settings of the app so that you can modify this. So you go to settings, advanced settings, and then you're going to be seeing that you're able to sort the results that you get.
And that's in the Heal Advisor Analyze app, guys. You can modify that, customize that in the sorting modality. So if instead, it's going to sort from highest priority instead of, you've got the choices there you can click on and um, choose relevance. Okay, and then I also want to address something that Queen of Light's saying here that sometimes I check weekly. When we are checking or analyzing ourselves, some people do it daily, and I just gotta recommend from a personal perspective, don't do that. Let me give you an analogy. If you are jumping on the scale, to weigh yourself every single day or multiple times a day, and every time you observe that information, it has a subconscious and psychological influence on you. And if you're trying to obtain a goal and suddenly all of a sudden these numbers are all over the board, you're going to be confused, right? So I tell my clients, stay off that scale. You're not going to see anything for a month. Just stay off it, right? Well, kind of same thing with analysis. When we are analyzing things and we're taking the objective content and then we're doing analysis later and it's like, well, it's different. Of course, it can be different because it's the new you in that moment. I like to take a long period of time and let the body acclimate because you're working with the bioenergetic field and you're using the information that you obtained to change the tangible three-dimensional body. The three-dimensional body changes slower, right? Because it's cell by cell. 800,000 cells per second are being recreated in your body. 800,000 per second. That's a lot, but you have 100 trillion cells that make up your body. Every like 3 years, you have all new body, but it takes time. That's the tangible three-dimensional body. It's the last thing on the creative scale to show the sign. It's the last thing, right? That's the physical thing you live in. So take your time. I always recommend people to go through several weeks and see what's happening. Okay, guys, we're out of time. Anything you want to lightning round here?
Well, yeah, we need to do the last prize here, the last giveaway. We have one more. Let me see here. The
Oh,
last
Jake,
one.
before we do that, do you think it would be okay if we answer that question that we got via email?
Oh, sure.
Let me take a look.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
had to do with I know it had to do with we got a question by Margaret that she basically asked about the sleep study, that there's a sleep study going on right now. Anybody who's participating, you will notice that because of the configuration that is used for this study, it basically requires you to get rid of the programs that you have on the Healy app, and then once you finish the study, you may be missing your program. So the solution for this is to reinstall the app. So I recommend reinstalling the app after you finish the study. That should restore your programs. If still causing problems and you still are missing your programs, always make sure try to update your Healy on the configuration of the app. If that still doesn't work, just reach out to us via our live chat, bottom right corner of our Healy shop website, and we will be more than happy to restore access to your programs that way. So try to do it yourself on your end, reinstalling the app, uh, running an update if possible. If not, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you with that. And thank you, Margaret, for submitting that question.
Awesome. Yeah. And on that same study idea, AJ asked a question and Henry put the study, it's right there in the shop. You've got studies that you can take a look at. So, I love what Marcus does is constantly, in the lab doing some studies and then using the community as the participants. So useful stuff. And we can, that helps everyone. Again, like I said, where your confidence lies or does not will have an influence on the biological outcome. So studies are great and I love them. And as a guide, okay, because you are an individual in space and time. So listen to your body more than anything else.
Okay,
Okay.
let me share my screen. Last giveaway for
Woo-hoo.
today. Oh, actually, let me go to the right slide. And this one I think is going to be fairly easy, actually.
Mhm.
Let me do this. So the last giveaway is the best costume contest. So
Woohoo! Show
if
everybody.
you
Come
don't
on.
have a costume on, I guess not eligible maybe, but looking at if you do have one and you're not on camera, maybe now's a chance to put that on camera, else we won't be able to know. But I think our number one question answer or asker today, Yojini Priyanka, I think is our winner, right? Would everyone agree?
Mhm.
All of us hosts?
Yeah,
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 the
yeah.
Queen
I
of
mean,
Light, Queen of Light and
Queen
Shadows.
of Light and
Yes.
Shadows, yes.
yeah,
Excellent.
great.
Congratulations on the best costume award there too. And as a reminder, if you want, I know the call is about to end, but if you want to, for those of you that haven't picked the prize yet, I know I'm still waiting for, I think, Liliana to submit. These are the options here. Again, there's 4 physical items and then 5 virtual items, different app programs and modules. So if you don't have time on the call today to answer it, you can always email your request or which prize that you want to americas@healy.world. And we'll get that taken care of over the next few days for you too. So if you want to, you can still put it in the chat, but if not, sometime after the call, again, just email to americas@healy.world and we'll get you set up with whatever that you pick here.
I love that. And so giving you guys a couple more minutes to make sure that Jake has your content. Quick little answer of a couple little things that are kind of relative. One asks, if you're not using the microcurrent, can you run more than 3 programs in a day with, say, the coil? Yes, yes. The coil really does not have a limit there as to how many programs a day you can run. But again,
Yeah.
listen to your body, folks. And then the question about intensity, how high do you turn it up? Listen to your body. With the coil, you can crank that guy up. Some of them have, your app will show you whether you have energy flowing through if you have the wristbands on and the electrodes. If you have current flow through the body, it will tell you yes or no, you do or do not. Crank it up until you do. So, just a couple of things there, guys. We've covered some of that stuff in the past, and I love those questions because if you guys are just getting started, you don't know, right? So hopefully that helps. Okay, guys. Jake, you got everybody's information? All
I
the
got most us. If not, we'll follow up again after the call. We got all the names down at least. So
I love it. Well, this was a lot of fun, you guys. Thank you for participating. I love you all, and please join us. If you didn't get your answers this time, join us next week and come back with your questions. Invite your friends if this was helpful. Definitely tell people about it and spread the word. All right. Love you all. Save the chat. And I know you can't do it if you're on your phone, but like I said, if your laptop or your PC, you can save the chat if it was helpful. All right, y'all. Thanks, Jake. Thanks, Henry. Happy
My
holiday,
pleasure.
right? Woohoo!
Bye bye,
Yay.
everybody. Take care. This was awesome.
Elvis is leaving the building. Okay, guys. See you later.
thank you.